Hey guys, today I'm going to teach you how to read long numbers or decimal numbers. This is going to be how to read it in English and Japanese. So there are three types of situations where you might encounter how to read numbers. The first is in where you have to read it as a year. Second is when you read it as a double-digit price. Or third is when you read it as a price with 4 digits or more. First, let's start with how to read a year. In English, this would be pronounced 1996. It's important to remember for the years under 2000, the year is not pronounced. In Japanese, on the other hand, you would say 1996年. Everything after or before nen means the number, and nen itself means year. In this case, it is pretty similar to Chinese, where the number itself is before the year. Next is when you pronounce these dollar signs, or the prices, specifically in 2-digit formats with cents at the end. In English, you would say $23.56, or you could also say 23.56 as two separate numbers. 23.56 is more common for when you are listing the price of something, as when you're working as a waiter or saying the price of a food at a restaurant. In contrast, you might say $23.56 when you are saying the total of a person's order. It is more formal in comparison to the others. In Japanese, you would say $23.56. In this case, it is pretty similar to English, in where you say the 23, which is the dollars, after you, and then you say the cents as 56 cents. Now, for the 4-digit pronunciation with no cents, you would say something like, in English, $2,356. An alternative way you can say this, which is more casual, is $2,356. Now, the 2,300 actually means 2,300, because you can multiply 23 with 100 and get 2,300. In Japanese, you would simply say 2,356 ドル. Now, you might encounter a special case when you can't really differentiate between the cents and the dollars. For example, if it is 99.99, it's difficult to differentiate between whether it is $99.99 or fully $9,999. This might seem difficult at first, but there are some ways that you can get out of this difficult situation. And this would be to use context clues. For example, if a car dealership were to say that the car itself was sold at $99.99, then it is probably the latter, as cars are usually not sold for only $99. But if we were talking about an item that would be priced lower, such as a pair of headphones, then you would probably assume that it is $99.99. I hope this was helpful, especially when you are listing out everyday prices or years. It can be confusing sometimes to whether or not to say the dollars or the cents, and that is totally understandable. Hopefully, this gave you some more information about how to say money.